This is a cold start on M2 with the Valvetronic exhaust system, but the valves are closed. What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Good morning. Today we are talking about the Bayoptiks headlights. The reason that I decided to make this video is because I never really went into detail talking about the headlights and the actual experience of buying the headlights, putting them in. We kind of just grazed over that when I did the like 2.0, whatever you want to call it, reveal with the headlights and like the wing and all, and the blacked out 437Ms. But we never really went into detail talking about the Bayoptiks headlights, kind of like the rough cost, what it was like installing them, and how I like them so far. I've had them on the car for 4 months, something like that. I've gotten a lot of DMs from people asking me if I like them, if I would suggest buying them, if they should just keep their headlights stock, if it was expensive, how long it took, if it was easy to install. I'm gonna try and cover all of that stuff today for you guys in this video, so hopefully you get some value out of this. Let's get into it. As you guys saw, my helmet arrived. We are inching closer to track day. I've got my eye on the first date. I actually reached out to the track and I'm gonna try and work with them a little bit so we can get some really good content for you guys. So my mindset with this whole thing is I'm just gonna jump right into it and I'm gonna learn and I'm gonna bring you guys along for the ride. And honestly, I just can't wait to get this car out on an actual track. We've done so much work to it. I feel like if you're gonna do all this work to a car, what's the point unless you really get to experience the car at its full potential? And that's what the track is for, man. Okay, it's time to get coffee and we're talking about Bayoptiks headlights today. Let's get into it. But today, you guys, we're talking about the Bayoptiks headlights. I get a lot of questions on these, and they're probably, honestly, my favorite modification externally that I've done to this car. So this is a 2017 BMW M2, the OG version, N55B. It did not come, it's the pre-LCI, so it did not come with the nicer headlights, didn't come with the nicer taillights. I upgraded all of that stuff. This car looked so good, in my opinion, just the whole body, the styling, everything we were doing to it. I kind of just like hit a wall when I got to the headlights, and I told myself when I first bought this car that I wasn't gonna do the headlights. I wasn't gonna upgrade the headlights. Once I actually like buttoned up the front end, I had a lip on there, I had all of these nice things. Basically, everything was done externally to the car but the headlights. The car just felt like it was missing so much attitude in the front end. Like everything looked so good and so aggressive and so modern, and then the headlights were just like, nah, they just didn't look that good. These are the same headlights that I had in my F30. They are the xenon headlights. They're just the basic angel eyes, but from factory, the LEDs really aren't that good. They look super dim and they're really hard to photograph like well. They just don't give the car that good look. So let's talk a little bit about the LCI headlights. So the headlights and the LCI taillights are killer. They're way better than the factory, the OG factory ones. The only thing that I don't love about those is they don't have the blacked out housing, and the blacked out housing is really what makes these headlights pop. They give the LEDs a ton of definition and they just look really, really good in photos. For me personally, these headlights are 100% worth the cost and the time that it takes to get them done. I just think they completely changed the front end. It really just modernized the whole front end and just gave it so much more attitude. That's exactly what I was looking for in photos. Everything else on this car is so beautiful. This car is so well done that when I got to the headlights, it was just a dud for me. And I knew that at some point I wanted to do the Bayoptiks and just kind of experience it and kind of bring you guys along for the ride and tell you what I thought about it. So let's get into a little bit of what I think about these headlights, the entire process, what that was like, the install, the quality, what I optioned, and the rough cost. So when we first decided to paint the 437Ms on this car to all black and then do my calipers white, obviously I'm not rocking those now, I got the new Apex FL5s on here, but when I decided to do that, I knew that it would take about a week or so for the shop to take care of the calipers and everything, and we had a few other things that we were doing as well, so I figured, you know what, if I'm gonna do the headlights, now is the time. The car is already gonna be down for a week. What's another few days? I might as well just go ahead and have them take care of the headlights as well. So these, I mean, dude, these look so good. The Bayoptiks headlights are freaking amazing. So let's talk about everything that I have in my headlight. So I told Bayoptiks when we were talking about doing headlights, I told them that I wanted the most basic headlight setup possible. I didn't want fancy stuff. I don't want the RGBs. I don't want like the crazy X's. I don't want any of that. I want this to look factory OEM plus, and that's exactly what I went for. And I think that, dude, I think we nailed it. So the entire headlight has a blacked out housing. Everything in here is blacked out. Looks super clean. I have brand new OEM lenses on these. Both of them have brand new OEM lenses. The LEDs in this are 6000K, so they're very, very white, tinkering on the side of blue, mostly white. And then I also have a blacked out amber LED turn signal. They threw that in for free for me, which is really cool. So yeah, overall, it's just a very like sexy, sleek design. It's super, super basic. So when you turn on the turn signals, only my amber turn signal goes on, but they also optioned these headlights for me to have the LED switchbacks. So this up here, I can actually change the wiring in the back of the housing to have this flip to amber. So it will blink amber when my turn signal is on. Right now I don't have it set up like that, but it's literally as simple as just connecting two wires, and then the switchback will blink as well. I figured I would run it without that for a while, kind of see how I liked it and maybe go from there. I am going to probably hook up that LED switchback just so I can check it out and see how it looks. But there really is, like, dude, no question, like this car with these headlights, it just completely changed the way that the car looks. And that blacked out housing is really what gives these headlights that crazy definition, like that super, super definitive look to them. And then also the top up here is blacked out, so everything is blacked out. It just cracks, the LED just cracks right through so well. Even in like super bright situations, you know, you can still see it. So these are definitely a lot brighter. The xenons are the same. So the xenons, I'm running the 6000K bulbs. We were running those before, so it's the exact same setup, nothing changed there. They look really good with these headlights when they're on. So as far as the cost on the Bayoptiks headlights, they start at $1,400. So the way that that works is you actually have to send in your headlights. So like I said, I knew the car would be down for a little bit. We just pulled off the front bumper, popped out the headlights, shipped them out to Bayoptiks. It took Bayoptiks about 2 weeks to finish up the headlights, and then they sent them back to me and I installed them on that same day when I got them. It was a really, really easy removal and install. The install took me about an hour, and that included the front bumper, everything. The entire assembly was about an hour, hour and a half to wire everything up and get it solid. When they send you back your headlights, you also get super detailed instructions, so you just follow that step by step. Honestly, it's idiot proof. It's really, really straightforward to reinstall it. I think as long as you know your way around BMWs and tools, you should be able to handle it just fine. The nice part is you're not tapping into any wires or anything. Bayoptiks actually sends you a wiring harness. It is plug and play. You literally just plug that wire harness in, route it in correctly, reinstall the headlights, and you are good to go. No coding, no errors, nothing. So the base price for these headlights, it was $1,400. That's for the basic setup. I opted for brand new OEM lenses, and you guys will see on their website, there's so many options you can do. Carbon fiber, changing colors, different switchbacks. You guys can go absolutely crazy and spend $5,000 on some headlights, but for me, I wanted the most basic stuff. I wasn't really looking to have like a crazy show style setup. I just wanted to modernize this front end a little bit, and so that's why I just went with the most basic setup, and I think that that's all you need on these cars, to be entirely honest with you. The other option, you guys, is you could also retrofit the LCI headlights. Now, I know that IND actually makes or they used to make a retrofit harness kit along with the headlights. I think it was like $3,500 for that setup, but I reached out to IND because they no longer have it listed on their website. Turns out that the harness that they had was creating some issues for some people, and they pulled it because it wasn't correct. It wasn't perfect, and they handled like the coating and everything for you. So that is another option, but in my opinion, these look way better than the LCI headlights because of the blacked out housing. The blacked out housing is really what's going to give you that good definition for photos and videos. I can't even tell you guys how many people compliment me on these headlights or ask me where I got them. It's a ton of people, and rightfully so. Like, it just completely changes the front end of this car. So like I said, you guys can option in so many different things on these headlights. You can get absolutely crazy. You can change the colors, you can do the X rings, you can do all the carbon fiber, you can do crazy stuff on them. In my opinion, simple and clean is always the best route to go. That's kind of just how I do all of my builds. Some people just want a little bit of a crazier setup on like a show car, which is totally cool. You will be paying a little bit more money for that, but I just wanted to keep mine basic. I think all in, with all the shipping and everything, I spent about $2,000 on these headlights. In my opinion, totally worth it. Completely changed the car. It was like the missing piece to this entire build when I had all the exterior modifications done. It just kind of brought everything together. So if you guys are interested in getting a set of Bayoptik headlights, I'm gonna have a link down in the description for you guys. Go ahead and check them out. It's actually, when you click that link, it'll give you 10% off retrofit headlights. So you will have to send in your headlights to get them retrofitted. That discount link does not apply to buying brand new headlights. So the other option with Bayoptiks is you can just outright buy OEM headlights from them and they will just do everything for you. Obviously, it's like an extra $1,600 to do that, but this 10% off discount only applies to retrofits. So you sending out your headlights to them and getting them redone basically the similar way that I did it. Use my link in the description and that will give you 10% off on your next set of headlights. I think that most people knew what the outcome was gonna be when I made this video. Like, do I actually like the Bayoptiks headlights? Hell yeah, I like them, dude. They look so good. Besides like the wheels and a few other little things, these are probably my favorite modification that I've done to this car. They just completely changed the way that the car looks and just gave it so much more attitude. As soon as I got the headlights, we actually also had them PPF'd by Sensational, so I have PPF film on the front of them just to protect them. I didn't want to end up like breaking a lens and having to send them all the way back out to California and do that all over again. So to give you guys an idea of how this install works exactly, obviously when you're removing your headlights, you have to pull off the front bumper. And then there's a couple of brackets that hold these in. You also have this Torx up here. I can't show you everything, obviously, with the front bumper on. Quite a few screws and bolts holding these headlights in and just positioning them properly. You guys want to be really careful when you're removing everything and reinstalling everything. Always make sure that you're bagging your bolts and you're labeling them, because you're going to have a ton of them to remove this front end, everything that's behind it, and then the headlight assembly. There's just a lot of little specific bolts. Do not mix them up because they all have their own specific purpose and just place to go. So it's important to not mix those up. The way that these are ran is the harness actually comes out of the back and through the fender all the way up into here. And then back here, you can just barely see it in there. Basically, it's just a long black harness. I have it zip tied up in here, and then there's a fuse. And in the instructions that Bayoptiks gives you, it'll tell you which fuse you need to tap into this front fuse box. But that's what's going to power up the headlights, tell them when to turn on, tell them when to turn off. And then there's a longer side to that harness. So this is the short side, obviously, being that the fuse box is right there. There's a longer side of the harness that goes all the way across and over to this headlight. So like I said, the way that they're ran, the wire plugs into the back of the headlights and then it goes through the top of the fender. So above that fender liner, over the top, I have it zip tied to the actual inside of the car and then through there. So the harness does not move, it's completely stable. It's really easy to wire up, like super easy. That was like the easiest part, was wiring it up. The hardest part for me, because I was alone when I was doing it, was just reassembling the bumper and the headlights and making sure that everything was like perfect and fit well and wasn't like cockeyed. I think the best way to do this when you're installing the headlights is leave some of the bolts a little bit loose on the inside, the ones that you can access from the back on the insides. You're also going to want to remove your fender liner so you can access a lot of those back bolts. You're going to want to leave some of those bolts a little bit loose so you can reposition things when you put the front bumper back on. That was something that I kind of battled with. It took me a while to get it right. So just take your time with it. Like I said, there's instructions. It's really easy. There's also a lot of places on the forums that'll tell you how to, remove the bumper and the headlights and all of that. So yeah, you guys, in conclusion, Bayoptiks headlights, hands down, totally worth it. in my opinion, one of my favorite modifications that I've done to this car. So now that I've actually retrofitted the rear LCI taillights and then upgraded the headlights to the Bayoptiks, it just looks like a modern LCI model. But like I said, you guys, if you are interested in a set of Bayoptiks, I highly suggest doing it. I will leave their information down below, as well as the link to the 10% off discount code if you guys want to buy some Bayoptiks for your car. And I will do a video plugging in these switchbacks so I can show you guys what they look like when they're actually on. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Please do subscribe, comment down below, like this video, hit that bell notification. And just like that, this video is over and we're out. Peace. Yeah.